Hey there everybody, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everyone's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These market statistics are for Pinellas County for January 2024. So you may be asking yourself, the date on this report says December 2023. Why is he calling these the January 2024 numbers? Well, it's because December is the most recent numbers that we can fully assemble and put together. Typically in the real estate world, we divide them into monthly statistics, and then we compare them year to year. So we're not really looking to compare necessarily December to November, although that is something I have been paying attention to the last year or two, just because the market's been a little all over the place. But typically we compare year to year, meaning we compare December 2023 to December 2022. The reason why we do that is because the natural calendar year has an ebb and flow to it when it comes to real estate. A lot of people aren't terribly interested in looking at or buying houses around the holidays, so a lot of times you will see a dip there. The school year is another period of time where people aren't too interested in making moves when school is just about to end or just about to start. So because of that, if you compare October to September or May to June, there will always be a big dip just because the vast majority of people aren't looking to make moves in those months. So that's why we compare year over year. It kind of gives us the broader sense of what the real estate market. The other truth is real estate usually doesn't move that fast price-wise. The last few years have been a little bit of an exception on that note. But generally speaking, prices don't usually move that much. So I'd like to take you back to, a previous math class and explain the difference between average and median sales prices. So average sales price is you take the number of homes that have sold, you add up all of those prices, you divide it by the total number of homes sold, that gives you the average. Median sales price is a little bit different. Median sales price is, let's say that you have 20 homes that sold. The median is the point at which there are 10 homes that sold for more and 10 homes that sold for less. It's a little bit different than the average because average can be swung significantly if there is a large number of very inexpensive or very expensive homes that have sold. So average usually swings a lot harder than the median sales price. Median sales price is a little bit more predictable usually. There can be exceptions to that. So let's dive into these Pinellas County statistics. If you remember last month for December's video, we actually had a pretty wild setup in November, which is we set a new record median sales price of $490,000. If you remember, back then, I did have a little bit of a caveat to that number. And the reason why is because if you go back to the explanation of average and median sales price, median is the midpoint of the market. So whenever the total number of closed sales really starts to come down or decrease, then you will see bigger fluctuations in that median sales price. And that seemingly is what happened with that 490 number. So I don't really trust that 490 number that we had last month. I mean, yes, technically that is the statistics. I don't believe it is indicative of where the market is at currently. I think it is just a fluke of what homes sold in November. And the reason why is basically kind of our lead number here, which is the total number of closed sales. Total number of closed sales is down 9.3% from 745 homes to 676 homes. Now the crazy thing here is, if you go back a couple years to 2021, we sold over 1,000 homes in December. So we have dropped off 400 homes in just a few years in December. That is a very sizable drop. So total number of closed sales is down. Total number of cash sales is up 6.9% from 247 to 264. Interesting thing about this is because the number of closed sales are so low, that number of cash sales makes up a very large percentage of total homes sold. So cash sales made up about 39% of all homes sold in Pinellas County. Median sales price is down 0.2% to $436,500. If this was normal market kind of conditions, and we had sold 1,000 homes, but median sales price was at $436, down from 490 last month, it would be catastrophic levels. Catastrophic levels of concern. I mean, here's the thing. If we get the February numbers and they're also terrible, fair enough. Maybe things are just extraordinarily terrible out there. But this does not line up with my experience with buyers and our current listings currently. But median sales price is down to $436,000, which is even with 2022 basically. And I'll touch on some of the other median sales prices in 2023 so you can kind of get an idea for where that's at. Average sales price was up 2.5% to $615,000. Median percentage of original list price was down 0.4% to 94.7%. Median time to contract is down 8% to 23 days. Here's kind of the wild part is, median sales price came down so much, but yet we're still under 30 days on median time to contract. That's also why I'm like, yeah, the market's just ripping wildly. Total number of new listings is up 6.3% from 662 homes to 704. And the total number of active inventory is up 17.3% to 2,113. Foreclosures and short sales still, really too low that they have no impact on the market. There was a total of 2 foreclosures and bank-owned sales, and there was a total of 0 short sales. Now, the one thing that I do want to point out here is we have been building inventory. Some months slower than others, some months a little better than others, but we have been building inventory. So we sold 676 homes. We added 704. We're up to 2,113. At our low point, we were under 1,000 homes for sale. So on our median sales price numbers here, again, December, which is our most recent numbers, 436,000. November was 490. October was 469. September was 462. August was 479. If I go to the total number of sales, it went mid-600s, 750, 830, 840, going back to August, that same time frame. So you can see that the median sales price kind of whipsawed once we dropped below 700 homes that had sold. And that's relatively expected. It's something that I'm going to keep paying attention to. But anecdotally, my experience with submitting offers and stuff like that, sellers are a bit more negotiable on price. We are able to negotiate price reductions, but it hasn't dropped. It hasn't gone up 30,000 and then dropped 60,000. That's just, again, I believe that is just a quirk of the market. Now, the other bit to touch on here is inventory. So December, we were at 2,100. November, we were at 2,200. And then 2,000. All of this trajectory is a good bit above December 2022, like wintertime 2022 to spring 2023. But prices were significantly lower in that time period as well. And while I did say that cash sales is making up a pretty significant portion of closed sales, they are still within average of the last year and are significantly below. If we look back to 2020, they are significantly below those numbers. Now, I do like to dive into the different price points because $1 million house does sell slightly different time frame than a $400,000 house, primarily because the buyer pool is slightly different. Mainly because the buyer pool is smaller for the $1 million house. There's just fewer people looking to buy those. So they typically take a little bit longer to sell. The bad news is if total number of closed sales under $150,000, there was a total of 3, which was down 40%. 150 to 200,000 went up 30% to 17. 200 to 250 was down 29.3% to 29. 250 to 300 was down 40.5% to 47. And then once you hit 300, that's where the bulk of the market really starts. So 300 to 400,000 was down 0.6%, 176. 400 to 600,000 was down 12.8 to 205. 600 to 1 million was down 6.3% to 120. And a million or more was up 17.9% to 79 homes. Median time to contract, I always like sharing big numbers with you. So $100 to $150,000 median time to contract was 213 days. That is like 2/3 of a year, which is an increase of 326%. Now remember, there's only 3 houses that sold at that price point. So you can see whenever you have small sample sizes, that really swings. It really has the potential to swing those numbers in percentages. $300,000 to $400,000 was up 11.1% to 20 days. $400,000 to $600,000 was at 27 days, which was no change. $600,000 to $1 million was up 26.1% to 29. And $1 million or more was hanging out at 32 days, which was up 28%. Our lowest of low points was we were around 6, 7, or 8 days time to contract. So we are currently at 20-ish days for most price points. And I really don't expect to see a buyer's market until we hit, 45, 50, 60 days to contract. That's when you really see things change over to a buyer's market and, things start to decline. Total number of new listings are pretty much down up to the $400,000 price point. So for example, $250,000 to $300,000, there was 26% fewer homes, total of 37 listed for sale. $300,000 to $400,000, there was 138 new listings, which was down 17.4%. And then $400,000 to $600,000, we see the big number, 247 homes listed, newly listed for sale, which was up 8.3%. And then total inventory kind of mirrors that. So 400 and under, there were fewer houses available for sale. And above 400,000, there was considerably more for sale. And again, that's going to move that median home price number around. So 200 to 250,000, there was 82.3% fewer homes, total of 11. 300 to 400,000, there was 4.5% fewer homes, 341. 400 to 600,000, there was 19.4% more houses for sale, 672. 600 to $1 million, there was 42.7% more homes for sale, 501. And inventory $1 million or more was up 34.2%, total of 506. So those are the numbers for Pinellas County. So overall here, what does it look like is going on? Well, I've been building this theory for the last, 6, 7 months. And so far, everything is following along with kind of what I would expect. So 2024 does look like it's probably going to be a repeat of 2023. Here's my reasoning. 1, overall, we have fewer homes for sale in general in 2024 than we did in 2023. The number of buyers is down, but the number of new listings is also significantly down. So we're really not seeing this large mismatch where, we're not building 300 or 400 homes of inventory every month. And you really need that sort of mismatch to where you really start to see price declines. That's also backed up by the time to contract numbers, which are hanging around in 20 to 30 days. That is very much seller's market territory. If I had went to somebody in 2018 and told them, hey, time to contract is 20 to 30 days, everyone is going to think they're lucky stars, because as a homeowner, it makes selling a home relatively easy. We don't usually see a buyer's market until we get up to, 45, 50, 60 days. And at the end of the day, the core problem is still one of supply. We cannot expect to see significant price reductions until inventory drastically outweighs demand. And there's a few reasons for that. Primarily, homeowners don't like selling homes for less money than last month. So the natural inclination is always to try to get a little more money than other stuff has sold for. The only time you start to see significant price slides is when everything is hanging on the market for a month. It is when everything is hanging around on the market for a couple months. At that point, sellers become willing to compromise. They sell for a little less, and then it the cycle starts repeating itself on that slide. If you had come to me in 2019, 2020 and said, hey, Kyle, in 2023, interest rates are going to touch 8%. What do you think that's going to do to home prices? I would say it's going to be a catastrophe. Basically, demand's going to crater. Prices are going to slide significantly. It's going to be terrible. That's not what happened. What happened is we set new record sales prices. We set new record sales prices compared to 2022. And time to contract is down compared to 2022, and the market overall is stronger in 2023 than it was in 2022. So currently what we have, and I've kind of been touched on this for almost a year now, we seem to have a bit of a teeter-totter kind of situation. So the level of buyers and sellers is so evenly matched that any sort of slight shift in either has an outsized effect on time to contract and prices. So currently the way the market is going is following like the year, meaning like wintertime and all that stuff. So in the winter, we usually have fewer people interested in buying, so demand drops. We start building inventory up and prices start to slide. Wintertime has been a very good time to buy for the last year, for the last 2 years in a row, including this year. Like if you're thinking about buying right now, it is a phenomenal time. But we're only building like 50, 100, 200 homes every month. Like it is a slow build on inventory. It gets to the point to where prices start to slide a little bit, but it's not enough to cause like a cascade. Then what happens? Springtime rolls around. Buyers come back because they're looking to make, fresh lives, new improvements, all those things. And then they rapidly chew through the inventory that is built up. Things start to get pretty tight again, and then prices climb in the late spring and summertime. That's exactly what happened in 2023. 2024, the setup seems even stronger than 2023 just because of where our inventory numbers are. Just overall, there's fewer homes for sale now than there was in 2022. So that seems to be how things are shaping up. There's a lot of reasons why the number of new listings and supply is so low. New home starts are still, even after the Great Recession, the crash of 2008, the number of new home starts dropped by like 80%, and we have still only recovered to mid-1990s levels of new construction. So we have that deficit that we have built up over the years. And the secondary piece is just not as many people are selling houses, like for a variety of reasons. Maybe they have it as an investment home. Maybe, they just have it at a very low interest rate. I saw something that 65% of homeowners have interest rates under 3% or 4%. So, for a lot of people, it's hard to make that decision to buy a house and look at increasing the house payment up to like a 6% interest rate. And until we really start to see that mismatch, this is kind of going to be the case for a while. On the demand side, I would have thought that 8% would crush demand, but it did not. Like I said, we have set new record home prices, and with interest rates having come down into the sixes now, I would expect there to be, a pretty good amount of demand to come back here in the springtime. So that's basically what's going on in the Hillsborough County and Pinellas County real estate markets. It is a phenomenal time to buy currently. That's probably only going to be the case for a few more months, and then things are more than likely going to ramp up and prices are going to start increasing again. If you've been thinking about selling, it is still an extraordinary time to sell. Time to contract is definitely up, but it is still 100% a seller's market. If you would like help finding your own great place in Tampa Bay, I would love to help you out. My phone number is 727-300-2111, or there's a contact form below. You can go schedule a call at the time that works best for you. We can have a quick chat. I promise I'm not overly salesy. I try to keep things as conversational and as informational as possible. So once again, my name is Kyle Sasser. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.